Hello and welcome to the 30 to Lock show. My name is Joshua Reimer. I'm joined by none other than Jared Block, who's over on my right. Jared, how you doing, man? We've never been here before. It's a new set. It's a new everything for us for 30 to Lock, and we've been doing them in the Discord for quite some time. But it's nice to make the change back over to Twitch where we started the 30 to Lock show.
Yeah, absolutely. Not everything is set up yet, but I love that the chat works. That I was worried about that for
Yeah.
a little bit.
I set
So
it up like right before we went live, so I'm happy it works as well. Very lucky that it works because I did not know what I was doing, but glad to see that it works. We have a slate today. We have an MLB slate today. We have opening day happening today, and I could not be more excited. I know you couldn't be more excited. Econic subbing with the Prime. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it here. I'm excited, man. I got to get things ready. I got to get things ready to post. But um if you want to take it away for a little bit, go ahead.
I definitely will. Losing streak coming in with the best question of the day. He said, "Are the lines ready?" That's how you start opening day.
Spicy. Spicy
Oh man,
indeed.
he gets the joke. It's funny.
Yeah.
He understands the assignment, as the kids say.
As the kids say. Oh, this is going to be a great opening day. I can tell.
Oh man, Crispy Bacon says your backdrop should really be a stadium. If we could get it behind us and figure out how to do it, we could definitely make that happen.
Bro,
Go Friar says not Yankee Stadium though.
oh, what stadium
Good.
then?
I don't know.
We're
Maybe
not doing
we
Fenway,
just
that's for sure.
nah. No, you're right. We could. I mean, I guess this is a Mariner stream. Might as well do it. Start it off. But their stadium's not
Oh,
that epic in the outfield, so
that's a good point.
it's just stands,
Yeah, it's a little bit
endless
boring.
stands.
Yeah, Link says Pirate Stadium. I don't think that's going to happen.
Thank you, Fatty McGee, with the resub to Prime. Appreciate you for hanging out. Little Lily says Field of Dreams. Baseball's back. Casting table in a stadium and set yourselves in the seats. Love it. You guys are
That's a good
full of
point.
ideas. I love
Yeah,
it.
look
Because
at that.
frankly, Josh and I are pretty exhausted, and it's only like 12:50.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, Target field. I don't think we can have any backdrops with stadiums that don't have roofs in 2022. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, we're a pure stadium with roofs only type of
No,
stream
I'm
here.
just salty. I'm just salty that we can't talk about the Mariners today. So
You're salty. I'm salty. We can't talk about the Yankees today, bro. Like I wanted to talk about my teams. We could have been having this show like 2 hours ago if the Yankees were just playing today, and instead a little bit of rain scared them. So
yeah, I don't know. It's the year 2022, and we are, Elon Musk is sending raccoons to space, and here we are, just still postponing games. MLB. It just
yeah,
doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
yeah, I can get behind that. It definitely does not make any sense, guys. If you have any questions about today's MLB, we're shooting the shit right now. It's all fun and games, but if you have questions about this MLB DFS slate, feel free to throw them in the chat. My content is posted for DraftKings. Jared's content is posted for DraftKings. So we are all set on that front. The only thing left to get posted for today is the FanDuel lineup. So those will be coming shortly. We have about 25 minutes until we hit lock. If I'm doing the time correctly, I think I'm around there. So yeah, we got a little bit of time, but we're happy to take questions. That's why we're here. And if you have those questions about today's slate, then fire away.
Yeah, first thing I see here is yes, I am on one today. That's what another cup of coffee will do to me at like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Uh, the first question we have here is thoughts of Brubaker for SP2 on DraftKings with all the righties in the cards lineup. So I think Josh and I are a little bit different on what the industry thinks about Brubaker, and I don't know if I necessarily want to go there on DraftKings, but SP2 for tournaments, I think I can get behind. I do think that there's a way that he can make his way through, and I would say probably 4 out of every 10 times this matchup happens, he escapes giving under 3 runs or less.
Yeah, and I mean that's all he needs, right? We talked about this a few times on our morning podcast. By the way, you guys should check that out. It's a completely free podcast on Spotify. It's called "Don't Fade This Podcast" because you should not be fading that podcast. And we kind of go over an early breakdown, position by position, instead of game by game. But we talked about that on that show. How Brubaker is kind of in a position where all he needs to do is go 5 innings, allow less than 3 runs, get 4 strikeouts, and it's a done deal. And I feel pretty good about it. So, yeah, I like the Brubaker play. I can get behind him as an SP2. He's not the cheapest guy on DraftKings, but he's definitely one of the better cheap guys over there for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. Home run calls today. Can't say Soto. I'll give my call. I have 3 calls for, so I won't give all of them away, but I'll give away one more since Soto was one of mine, and I think one of Josh's too.
Yep.
I will go ahead and say Will Myers. It's a home run today.
That's one of mine too. I will go ahead and say Francisco Lindor. And if you
Nice.
want to get really spicy with it, well, you can go James McCann. McCann's at like plus 500, isn't he?
Ooh.
I like that play a little bit.
Yeah, he's a nice play today.
Yeah. Any rain concerns in the Nationals game? No. They did a really good job of moving it back. Congratulations to them. You know, we Nationals are one of those teams that seem to always make really dumb decisions when it comes to their weather moves. They are very well known for canceling games way too early, or postponing games for too long of a time, or shifting a time. They make a ton of mistakes when it comes to their weather, but they made a really good move here by delaying things from 4 into 7, because they should be out of the way of all the weather that's happening over there in Washington.
John asks, what do pitchers and hitters need to hit value 5x? So on FanDuel, that's kind of what we try to get to. But for pitchers, but as far as hitters go, that kind of gets thrown out the window. It's more so because you can still win and cash comfortably with zeros from players, even if they're
Yeah.
at 3,500 or above. So we don't really count value for hitters necessarily, Josh. But I would say a good rule of thumb is anywhere from 2 to 3x, and obviously, when you hit home runs, it's way higher than that.
Yeah, exactly. Really the only thing that matters value wise is your pitcher. Like you said perfectly, 5x is where you want them at. 5x, and you feel very comfortable with that performance. But hitters value doesn't really matter because you can see someone go ridiculous. I mean, say someone has a 2 home run game, just has an absolute smasher, ends up having 6 ribbies alongside that. It could end up going for 15x, and everyone else could hit zeros in your lineup. Not everyone else, but you could have a few zeros in your lineup, and like Jared said, you can still cash. By the way, shout out Black Eddie subbing at tier 1. They've subbed for 10 months, and Tyler subbing with Prime. We greatly appreciate both of you. Thank you so much. What is going on? We see Can of Corn in the chat saying happy opening day. Happy opening day indeed. I think Corn has already posted his FanDuel lineup for today's first FanDuel single game. So make sure to go
Yep,
check that out if you haven't already.
they look great. Thanks, Corn. Coming from a Brewers fan. By the way, I should mention we talked about 5x, but we didn't say anything about sites. So 5x for pitchers on FanDuel, and I believe it's closer to like 2.5x on DraftKings.
I say it's two and a
That's
half. That's usually the number that I
okay.
give.
Yeah, I think 2 is too conservative. I think you're probably wanting to try to aim for 2.5, 3.
Yeah, I would tend to agree there. Uh, just looking to see if anyone has any other questions. Doesn't seem like we do have any other questions. So we will wait for those. While we are waiting, I want to get your thoughts, Jared, of what do you
Mhm.
think? Because we kind of talked about this with the season pass members, but we didn't go fully in depth here. What do you think the ownership looks like from this first game? Do you think people are just influenced ownership wise just because they're excited to play MLB DFS? Because I feel like that could definitely be the case.
I think so. And I have the same type of approach when talking about the last game on the slate with the Padres and Diamondbacks. I think that people could be a little overzealous and a little bit anxious, and they load up on some players that they probably shouldn't. And for me, that is the entire Cubs lineup and possibly some left-handed Brewers. I'm not too stoked on their spot from a main slate standpoint. Obviously, single game. definitely changes things. So I think the main concern for me is just finding out what, since this game's not on DraftKings, I really want to know what Burns' ownership is, and we'll get that right away to start off the day. And if that number basically, it doesn't run the slate, but it definitely makes things more interesting if he is one of the higher owned guys.
Yeah, we can kind of get an idea of where people went once we get that ownership. I think also, I keep seeing word about Brewers bats and people thinking about taking them. I'm not going to say it's a bad play. We touted some Brewers bats that we liked. Definitely not on them for cash, though. I think that kind of gives you an idea of where people went at pitcher, though, because if people take Brewers bats but don't necessarily take Corbin Burns, kind of tells you that they paid up, unless they're taking a guy like Yelich. But if they're taking a guy like Colton Wong and a guy like, Rowdy Telez and some of those cheaper guys, tells you that maybe they're paying up for a Shane Bieber that comes up at 3 p.m. our time.
Yeah, exactly. And we do have a pretty sizable gap in between this first game and the next. And then there's an even bigger gap between the guys at the end of the slate. So I don't know. I just think that avoiding this first game outside of like even I think Burns personally is a fade for tournaments today. So I'm really interested to see what happens here because I think it really gives you a pretty good idea of what the industry is going to do.
Yeah, I
So
agree. It does give you a good idea of what the industry is going to do.
to that point, there's a 3v3 here from Jake Hoos in the chat. Voit, Machado, Myers, or Telez, Yelich, Wong. So basically, Padres versus Brewers. Give me the Padres here.
Give me Padres as well. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see ownership wise what this looks like because I know we kind of came into the mindset last night that Padres would be one of the lower owned teams, but I'm not 100% sure that is the case. So excited to see
Mhm.
what that looks like, and I'm curious for sure.
Okay, I'm gonna post my FanDuel lineup for GPPs. Just giving you guys a heads up. I don't have anybody from this first game, and I'm waiting to see what lineups are. So
Yeah.
there might be a pivot. I'll let you know if there is. Obviously, we'll make sure everybody gets their notifications. So I'm just letting everybody know that for GPPs, there's always an option of that happening because I am focused on a lot of these late night games.
Yeah, definitely. There could be a pivot to cash as well. I'm very curious to see where some of these lineups come out. I think we'll be all set. I would be surprised if we pivoted, but with everything being so spread out on opening day, we definitely have to keep an eye out for it. I am wondering, are they going to open up tomorrow's main slate as soon as this one closes? Because I want to see tomorrow's main slate really badly.
Mhm.
I want to see what they do with tomorrow's games because tomorrow's schedule, if you haven't seen it, folks, is a little bit of a mess with games kind of all over the place, similar to what we have today. You have games starting at 12. That's 12 Central, 1 p.m. Eastern, and you have games going all the way until 8:40, and it's pretty spread out altogether. So you could see an early only slate with an actual real main slate instead of like today's main slate. You could see them kind of try to do the same thing they tried to do today, where they have just a full day main slate. It's going to be interesting. We'll have to see what happens there.
Definitely agree. We're gonna have some weird schedules the first like week or two.
Hmm. Yeah, I think like next Wednesday there's only like 3 games after 7 p.m., but there's like 8 games in the afternoon. So that's one of those days where you might see one of these early main slates. And luckily we'll still have it handled for you guys. All the content will still come out for those early main slates. We'll do early podcasts, we'll do early everything in that regard. But yeah, it should be interesting to keep up with these schedules. I'm definitely excited to see these schedules get back to normal, though. By the way, 27 viewers. Thank y'all for hanging out in the chat. We greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions about today's MLB slate, that's why we're here. Feel free to ask them. Jake Hoos asks, how much money is RR winning this year, targeting the Athletics lineup? I'll leave that question to you while I try to get my lineup posted.
A sizable amount. The
There
one
you
guy
go.
that I won't, the one guy that I won't target is probably Matas, like on a
There you go.
repeatable basis.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't think the A's are gonna have much run support. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just there will be plenty of times, but I think it's gonna be something where we more times than not will have late exposure to the AL West.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It should be really interesting to keep up with the AL West because there's so many solid teams over there. Mariners, obviously. I know that's what you were going for there, Jared, but Angels too.
Mm.
Lots,
And
lots of
Rangers.
stuff there. Yeah, okay, okay.
Um,
Favorite one-off. Jared, I know my favorite one-off. I want to hear yours though.
yeah, a guy that I did not get in. Hopefully, we're not talking about the same guy. I didn't get him in my lineup today, and he is a one-off for that reason. It's Franmil Reyes of the Guardians.
Really good one-off. Really, really good one-off. My one-off today is going to end up being I have two actually, but the one that I'm going to talk about is Juan Soto because he's my favorite. I think Juan Soto absolutely balls out today. Who
Very
has the
nice.
most Ks today? Good question for sure. Uh, I feel like you're going to lean with your boy, Corbin Burns, who probably has the best strikeout rate at the end of the day. But you think it's Burns? You think someone else might have it?
I don't feel confident in there being more than one guy that gets double-digit strikeouts today.
Yeah,
I,
I can
I've
agree with that.
seen the field is apparently on Bieber to be from what I've seen
Yeah,
a little bit more on FanDuel, and I don't know. I worry about the leash on a lot of these pitchers today. So I'll say if Burns finishes with 8, then there's a really good chance that Fried or Darvish or even Bieber could catch up to that.
yeah, I would tend to agree there. Hernandez, Mustakis, or Wong. Who would you take in that grouping, Jared?
FanDuel,
Yes, I assume on FanDuel. Mills, you can clarify that for us. But what would you do on FanDuel, and then we can talk about DraftKings.
if it's FanDuel, then I'm going with. I think it's either way. I'm gonna go with Hernandez. So
Okay, yeah, I can agree with that. I like Cesar Hernandez a lot today.
he's just really really cheap.
Yeah, no, I would tend to agree with that. Um, Yeah, that's all for questions right now. I guess when it comes to most Ks, I didn't get the chance to answer this. You know what? Wainwright had really great strikeout games against this Pirates team, so I'm just gonna go with Wainwright and ride that train. Last time he faced off against the Pirates, he had 9 Ks in 8 innings. Lineups posted on the site yet? Not quite. I don't know. Jared could be posting here soon, but I know I haven't posted yet. And Marte or Soto. I lean Soto in that
I'll go
grouping.
Marte, but make sure you have Mets stacked around that.
Yes, I can get behind that. Include Yelich at 3,300 or look elsewhere for FanDuel. This is from D Ruff. What's going on, D Ruff?
Look elsewhere, in my opinion. You have Marte there. You also have one of my favorite one-offs in Franmil Reyes, like I said. And yeah, I'm not a Yelich fan today. Not in this matchup.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. It's a tough matchup for him. I thought he did well against Hendricks in the past, and
I mean,
that
he
is
he he does. I'm just not super high on the Brewers today specifically.
well, like
Cubs
EVP
Brewers games,
wise.
especially early in the year, Cubs Brewers games are I would smash unders. Like I'm just forewarning everybody now. I don't think that the games in the next 3 days score more than um, 6 or 7 runs apiece, maybe even less.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think if this Milwaukee team does rely on their relief pitching early in this game, then you could end up seeing a really low scoring game.
All right, GPPs have been posted on Discord and the website.
I was just curious if any of this has come out. Yeah, we got some umpire data. You wanna hear what the
Cool.
umpire data has in store for us?
Sure.
All right. We have the umpire data for this Milwaukee and Chicago game. The umpire for this game is going to be Ted Barrett, who is typically more of a pitcher's friendly ump. He has a higher strikeout rate than most other pitcher or most other umps. You have Phil Cousy for KC versus Cleveland, another a little bit less of a pitcher's ump, but still a pitcher's ump. Jim Reynolds gets the St. Louis game, which is huge for Adam Wainwright. The biggest bump in Ks belongs to Jim Reynolds, at least so far on today's slate. And then Mark Carlson and Jerry Lane are the two umps for Washington and Atlanta. Both of them are hitters umps. So, by the way, for those who don't potentially understand what I mean by pitchers and hitters umps, obviously, a pitcher's ump is a guy who benefits the pitcher more. A hitter's ump is a guy who benefits the hitters more.
Question for you, and then actually we'll get to John's question really quick. Voit Soto or Alonzo Myers for DraftKings GPPs?
Void Soto.
Yes.
I guess it
Fully
also
split
kind
up.
of depends on builds. Like if you don't
Yeah.
have any Mets in your lineup, I'd probably have Pete Alonso at the very least.
The run total was 11 last night. In which game? The Brewers game? If that would be, I don't know. Chris, just tell me what game you're talking about because I would lose my mind if that was what it was. Marte or Soto, we already talked about that one. Oh, I was going to ask you, how owned do you think that Albert Pujols is going to be today?
I don't think there's going to be any ownership. I would be surprised to see in GPPs or in cash. I guess that's a good question here.
In cash. In cash.
In cash, I would assume it's probably under 20%.
Okay. I know there's just a big narrative surrounding this. That's all.
Yeah.
And in a good spot. So,
Yeah.
or decently good spot, I guess.
Um,
He loves hitting home runs at that ballpark.
hmm, interesting. He'll be there all year long, so we'll have plenty of chances to take advantage of that. Giannis for Perez says, uh, he got the total of 10.5 this morning. That's insane.
That's wild. Yeah, hit
Yeah.
smash the under of that.
By the way, Go Friars, I am fixing what you put in the chat just a moment ago. It is fixed now. Still a little bit in my old ways, I guess. All right, everything's posted on my end for lineups. Jared, I haven't got a chance to check out where you went, so I'm going to check it out now. Uh,
Nice.
Unless I screw everything up here with the Discord. Um, GPP, there we go. Ooh, spicy. Spicy. I like it, man. This is a solid build. This is a very solid build. You're definitely going to be different than the field. That's for
I know.
sure.
Yeah, I know I am. Yeah, Josh hasn't had his coffee yet. That's right.
I haven't had my coffee. I desperately need it. I also have a puppy who is hating that I have the lights on and is just begging me for attention right now, which is not a not the opportune time, but it's okay. We got everything posted, so we're all set.
We did answer the 2v2 DK. It was Voight Soto.
Yep.
Also, Pop One Breaks, Blake's Breaks. Thank you for the follows, guys. Appreciate you
Yeah.
jumping over from the cardboard space. We're here every single main slate for FanDuel for every single day, Monday through Friday of the MLB regular season. So, guys, mark your calendars. This one's obviously early, but normally it'll be around 6:35 Eastern time every single
Mhm.
Monday through Friday, right around that time.
And the great thing is that like we'll answer anything MLB related. You know, we're answering DFS questions right now, but obviously if you have sports betting questions, if you have prize picks questions, if you have underdog questions, like we're happy to answer anything that you guys got for us. We rocking with Chas McCormick tonight. Not a
Ooh.
name that I expected to hear. But I can get behind it, man. I don't think it's the worst play ever. I think if Shohei is limited, that bullpen isn't that great. So I can get behind some Chaz. We know he has the power for sure.
He certainly does. I'm interested to see what that lineup looks like, actually.
Me too. The Correa replacement and everything, and where they place everyone, it should be interesting. Especially with the whole Altuve thing, how they won't hit him number one in the lineup. It's been weird for sure.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Crispy Bacon has the best question of the chat so far. Who has the better record, the Yankees or the Brewers in 2022? I think we're going to be on opposite sides. I at least hope we're on opposite sides, but I say the Yankees.
Yeah, I'll back my team, even though I
Yeah.
do think that their win total is a little bit too high.
I will say that we are in a very tough division, so it made me think for a second, but I think I still rock with the Yankees.
Friendly reminder, guys. I know we have about 6 minutes till FanDuel locks, which will stay on after that locks, obviously, to discuss a few more things. But DraftKings does lock at in about 1 hour and 55 minutes. So just note that most of our content's covered already for it. Can we say that it already is finalized, Josh? You're done with it?
Yep, all done. We have
Okay.
everything
So am I.
posted, so we're
Okay.
all set to
So am
go.
I as well.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Nothing like being ahead of the game on opening day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Perfect. Make sure you guys stick around after lock because we want to review Burns ownership, Brewers ownership as well, and then we have a few things to talk about in relation to how the rest of the day is going to pan out.
Yep, for sure. And also just touching on the other things we're doing too, because this is our fourth show of the day, and
Mhm.
two of the other shows were free today too. So you have, if even if you are coming over from the cardboard space, there are still plenty of ways to listen to us and get some of our advice on MLB action. Will Harp said, "Did Correa go somewhere else?" He was being sarcastic. The Minnesota Twins fan was being a little sarcastic. Imagine that. Um, but yeah, definitely, he definitely did go somewhere else. That is for sure. Uh, Jay Cruz asked, "Trap pitcher and hitter of the slate." I want to hear your thoughts here. What do you think?
Uh, I mean, trap pitcher honestly is Corbin Burns for me, and the trap hitter. I'll make a spicy take. Nolan Arenado is the trap hitter of the slate.
I like it. I can get behind some Nolan Arenado. I will go instead though with Jake Cronenworth. I think a lot of people are going to see Cronenworth projected high in this lineup, and they're going to go with him because he's a lefty. But lefties don't do well against Madison Bumgarner, so handedness is very important in DFS, and I think people just completely ignore that. So it should be it. I think if he's owned, that's a terrible mistake, and I would lean Corbin Burns as the guy that's a mistake on today's slate.
I will go the extra step and say Greinke on DraftKings could be a trap too.
Ooh, spicy. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, we have 3 minutes to go until lock. So if you have any more questions for your FanDuel lineups, feel free to ask them now. We will be more than happy to answer them. But yeah, we're all set on our side of the things. Everything's posted, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I wish I was, but I still have to get your FanDuel lineup in. I always make that mistake. It's always tough when you're on the show with somebody else and you got to do it.
I always forget to do it whenever I'm on this show. I remember specifically when we did this show with Sean. I would always forget to put in his lineup. Um, Crispy Bacon asked any Hayes Young Kim love. I think it's okay to go there. We talked about Kim on the podcast a little bit, right?
We did. I think depending on where he is in the lineup, I think it's worth going there. Like he could end up being in the ninth spot. So
Yeah.
I still think it's fine.
Jay Kuz asked Hendrick over under 2.5 earned runs. That's tough. That's a good line to set for Hendricks because I could see him kind of cruising through with two and just calling it a day after 5 innings.
Yeah.
Um, man, that's tough. I think that I probably lean with under, but I don't feel very confident if you couldn't tell by the tone of my voice.
Yeah, I feel very uncomfortable betting either side of that, but I'll say I'll say under.
I don't know if you saw this, Jared, but I'm going to go take advantage of it. Supposedly, lots of overlay over on FanDuel.
Ooh, grabbing my phone.
Yeah, go ahead
Will
and take it.
Otani strike out 8 and go yard today? I think the strikeouts for Otani will not hit 8 today. He might go yard though. It would have to be after Fromber's out of the game.
Yeah. My goodness,
Yeah, I'm
lots of overlay.
not too high on the Houston Angels game. That should be actually another spot where I would hit the under on the game total.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I think that's a close competitive game, and so you're going to see both bullpens come out and be really good. So I can
Will, you
definitely.
still have time to do sneaky stupid. Just don't do it for the first game.
Yeah, there you go.
How do we feel about Matt Olson? I'm not too comfortable taking lefties for the Braves today.
I would agree with that. I'm mostly focused on righties. Another one off. I think we talked about one off sometime on this show, and it's someone who you didn't play, but I really like. I really like Riley today. I think Riley has
Mhm.
a really good chance of going yard when you look at pitch type and you look at everything else. Everything's kind of fallen in line for him, so I like Riley quite a bit. And we are locked, ladies and gentlemen. First slate of the MLB DFS season. We also got the Braves lineup, so we can look at that right after this. But let's go. I'm gonna go try to find some ownership and see where people might have been at today.
So I say that I say I don't want lefties. I did play um, one of them, just so I can cover myself. Uh, but yeah,
Wow.
I think that Olson is an interesting play today. I think there will be plenty of times where we can get awesome spots for him. Today's not really one of them. There was a couple other things here. Catcher for DraftKings Nola. Personally, I'm hoping that James McCann is in a good spot in the lineup, and if he's not, I'm still going to play him. But do you like Nola?
Um, Yeah, I like Nola. He's not my favorite DK catcher though. I think there's plenty of guys that I like there at the catcher position. James McCann being one of them. Really like that Met stack. Milwaukee, heavy chalk. So we are going to be
What?
big Cubs fans today. Go Cubs. Go Kyle Hendricks specifically. Um, and Burns is around 20% in cash. So not super highly owned, but should be interesting for sure. But yeah, I'm Rowdy Telez, 39% owned, Colton Wong, 72% owned,
Oh
William
my
Adames,
goodness.
60% owned, McCutcheon, 20% owned. This is just a classic example of some sharps making a bad mistake of trying to target against Hendricks and Wrigley. Like that does not sound like the way I want to spend my opening day.
They're going like almost a full Brewer stack.
Yeah. No, they are going like everyone's going a full Brewer stack, I think. I think the
Oh
only
my
decision
goodness.
people made was if you played McCutcheon or Yelich in the outfield.
Yeah,
We
Yelich is like 62%.
Yeah, that's mind blowing, man. I did not expect that is the last team that wasn't even a top 5 stack for me. Was it a
Nope,
top
me neither.
not yeah, not even a top 5 stack. So I'm very curious to see how this pans out for the industry because I think we have a big advantage there. But Jared, we're after lock. Do you want to touch on anything? Any housekeeping things before we get out of here?
Sure, absolutely. So, guys, we are doing one more thing for obviously DraftKings is going to be finalized and it's already up on on the website and everything, but we are doing something that we just announced yesterday. We partnered with Underdog Fantasy earlier in the week for the entire MLB season. We're also going to be doing a lot of stuff with them in relation to not only baseball but esports, UFC, and also NFL best ball content as well. That also includes an underdog play of the day that will be sent as a betting slip to in every MLB channel in the article pages on the website, as well as in the Radar Sharp Edge section of the Discord. There will be an underdog play of the day bet slip made by the two of us, as well as Can of Corn, Anthony, and Biggie from the esports team. So we're putting our heads together. We're doing an underdog play of the day bet slip every Monday through Friday, and it'll be out in the next half hour or so. So make sure to
Yep.
keep an eye on that. Everything else will be we'll let you know what's going on with the MLB slates tomorrow once we find out when they are, and then finally Sean is still providing for NBA from Thursday until Sunday. So make sure to get your NBA contests reserved because there is some juicy stuff to go for the next 4 days.
Yep, there definitely is. Good news. Colton Wong out on the first pitch. Ended up popping out to shortstop. So very good news. Looks like Willie Adames is down 0-2 in the count. Yeah, guys, just make sure to pay attention to the content that we're posting, right? We have, obviously, Don't Fade This podcast in the morning. That's posted on Spotify. We have the morning after show where we talk about sports. It's not necessarily a DFS show, more of a sports show. And then we have the member only podcast, which is reserved for members of the MLB product, where we go in depth about all of our picks and who exactly we like. And then we're going to have this show every weekday, which is exciting to have this show back. I know a lot of people missed it. We had it in the Discord, but it's not the same. It's so much better with us on camera, able to talk to you guys, able to talk through things, and we're hoping to add a few extra things to the stream too. So be on the lookout because this is day one, and there's still plenty of improvements that we can make.
Absolutely, including fixing a few things on this Twitch stream. But hey, we're giving it our all.
Yeah,
We're both tired. Well, we still got one more slate to go here and a long main slate, probably the longest main slate of the year.
yeah, without a doubt, probably the longest main slate of the year. So should be interesting. Hang out in the Discord with us. We're going to be sweating it in the Discord, even if it's just in the chats. We're going to be sweating out this slate with everyone else. So let's get this dub. Jared, you have any other thoughts? If not, let's get out of here.
No, I'm all set here. Thanks, guys, for supporting us through the first 5 hours of the season, and we have a lot more to go.
Yes, we do indeed. Thank you all for hanging out. And as always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good night and good.